Hi, I'm Toni Williams, and this is Brooklyn Savvy. Hi, I'm Toni Williams, and welcome to Brooklyn Savvy. We are going to be talking to Dr. Cesi Davidson about some of the work that she has done when in the domestic violence space. And there's more that I want to say about you, but let me introduce our Savvy panelistas first, and then we're going to dig right in, Cesi. We have Nomiki McCrillis, Maria De Longoria, Phyllis Whitethorn, and Colette Ellis. I want to talk a little bit about how you were introduced to me. And you were introduced to me by a woman named Dr. Toby Stein, who was so thrilled at your work, especially when it came to this play, Baby Doll. And what thrilled her was the authenticity of it and the fact that you just integrated community into a story around domestic violence. And you created safe spaces for women to talk about some of the experiences they've had with domestic violence. So why don't we, since my panelistas probably have not had the opportunity to see your play, tell us a little bit about Baby Doll.
I think the best way to introduce you ladies to this work is to give you a moment to experience it. I want to bring you into Clara's world with actually some objects and set pieces from the play so that you can feel some of the emotions as much as possible that she was feeling on the day she decided to leave her husband. So in order to accomplish that, the first thing we need to talk about is the idea of a weapon. So imagine this sleeve filled with a machete. Now we all know in recent days,
so that's what that is. I didn't even realize
a machete
that.
goes
Yeah,
in
okay.
here.
Mm-hmm.
In recent days, there was a woman who was decapitated by her husband, and then her child was had her neck slit. So this is an obvious weapon. I would say this is probably an obvious weapon too. It's sharp, it can stab, you can cut, it can be dangerous if you choose to use it in that way. But let's talk about what a weapon really is. A weapon can be any object that's used with intention to harm someone. With that in mind, this is the weapon that was used on Clara. One example. In fact, this was the weapon of choice. In one part of the play, she asked her husband to use the loafers because the heel is softer. It doesn't have a steel tip or heel like his construction boot. So when he aims it and he strikes her and he beats her into submission, she's going to be in pain, but not as much as if he had a steel toe.
That leaves you pretty speaceless. Yeah, right.
So I'm going to just pass some of the things around. So again, this is the day that she decides she's going to try her best to leave her husband. And she's done all kind of things like count the number of steps for him leaving the house, counting the number of minutes it takes him to get from the bottom of the apartment building to their door. She's done all of those things. It all depends on where he decides to buy his shoes that day, because it's his birthday and he wants a new pair of shoes, and he's going to bring those shoes home and break them in on her. Every day, Clara writes in her grateful book.
Her grateful book?
Her grateful book.
What's she grateful for?
Well, she's grateful this day, November 19th, 2019, to still be alive.
Wow. I don't think that's enough, but anyway, yes, continue. All right.
So this is what I learned from the 26th Precinct and the officers that worked with me in constructing this experience for the library patrons, is that a world is created around a woman when she's in a domestic violence situation. And that's the world that she knows. That's her experience. She doesn't know anything else. She gets caught in it and entrapped by it. She has a suitcase filled
When
with...
you say she doesn't know anything else,
Yes.
what does that mean? Meaning you can be in a domestic violence situation and have had better relationships, can't you? Can't that have been a possibility? Or is this character, that's all this character knows?
Well, what I've learned over time, not as a playwright or a therapist, but as a woman, the reason women stay in this situation and the reason women leave is the same. You stay for fear, you leave for fear. You stay for love, you leave for love. And what has to end up is that you love yourself more. You may believe that your husband, your boyfriend, your intimate partner really needs your love because that's the only place he can get it. But you get to the point where you are so fearful for your life and so loving of yourself that you realize that you have to come first. So this suitcase is filled with things like her underwire bra that he picked out, that she wore on her wedding day, the first time she was beat up. His favorite lingerie used to be her favorite as well, but now every thread feels like it's filled with memories of pain. Her favorite blue bra. He used to like it because it matched the heels. But today, on the day that she leaves, she's going to use her shoes.
To walk out.
To walk out.
Not hit him over the head.
And defend herself.
Right.
If she has to.
Right.
If she
Right.
has to.
So what inspired the work?
What inspired it? So I have, I don't know if it's an unusual way of process for a playwright, but I don't go out seeking things to write. I allow them to come to me. So when they come to me, I just try to not intellectually get in the way. I try to feel the work with my soul and whatever empathy I can start to feel for the characters. So this story evolved over time, and it was only when I realized that the audience just couldn't go home alone.
No, you have to
after
talk this
play.
out. This has to be talked out.
But it
yes.
needed to be talked out in a way that was productive, not just
And respectful.
respectful, allowing
And
all
safe.
safe, allowing all the voices in the room to be honored and respected, and to have an environment where you could have both victims and perpetrators in the same room.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we
That's
were
hard.
able to accomplish
You said
that.
that's hard?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's, yeah.
You're victims and perpetrators in the same room. I just
Yes.
can't. I mean, I know what happens, right? But it's
Yes.
just that thought process, and
Yes.
especially if they're not there yet.
Right.
But I think through the play, each identifies with their role within their characters, whether it's the perpetrator or the victim. And I think that's the first step for moving forward to thinking about their behaviors or identifying with
Yes.
the characters
Yes.
and opening a dialogue for what's going on, what kind of stepping outside of themselves. To
I
see what's
agree.
going on in that moment. So whether they're there, whether it's the abuser or the victim, they're there to see something that's out of themselves, which sometimes helps it become a reality. It helps you let it in.
I agree. And it also can give a moment to self-reflect and realize that you are just part of a cycle.
Yep.
The victims become the perpetrators, and perpetrators become the victims. And I see this so much with children who they bully, they're aggressive, they're acting out, they're angry. I've seen 2-year-olds who say, I hate grandmother, I want to kill her. 2-year-olds. So where is this coming from? You've observed the violence, and you internalize it, you might become another perpetrator, or you might withdraw into yourself and hurt your own self.
Now, what made this
is
so
possible.
unique is the integration of the domestic violence unit at the police department. Talk to
Yes.
us about what these breakout sessions looked like.
Well, I've been very fortunate in my ability to work with an insightful library manager who believed that art could really transform lives.
Yes.
So the 26th precinct was just phenomenal. There's no way that this kind of experience could have happened without the cooperation of domestic violence unit. And in fact, I remember in the library with all the patrons sitting around after the play saying, you know, we need to get back to that kindergarten space in our life when we believed in community helpers. And in this case, the police, unfortunately, are out there doing their job, preventing Black women from being assaulted and murdered. Other women, but I'm thinking specifically about this play, which was written about a Black man assaulting his Black female partner. And in New York City, Black women are the largest group of women who die through homicide and domestic violence.
Some would say
And
that's
that-
attributed to racism.
Whatever it's attributed to, it's
Racism
occurring,
and then the
it
trauma that results from it. I'm just saying some of the
Right.
research that I've read.
I think we could all point to trauma for many different
Absolutely,
things.
absolutely.
It doesn't give Black men a pass.
You
to
got
kill
that
Black
right.
women.
No, you are absolutely
It just
correct about that.
doesn't.
But no, it absolutely does not.
Yeah.
And it can be, because the Black woman could be with any partner, not just
Yes,
Black men, right?
yes.
So that sense of
Wait a
violence.
minute. You mean
Yes.
that we're being
Right.
assaulted by everybody? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, you know, I
Oh,
should
man.
qualify. I don't know the statistics
Yeah.
in that detailed a way. I just know. I mean, I don't know their male partners. Are they, you know, German? Are they, you know,
Yeah.
whatever they are? But whatever they are, they need to stop.
Exactly.
Okay, and Black, I don't, you know, that statistic of why are Black women the most? Why are we the largest group of women? Why is that happening? So there's something that's happening on, you know, the legal level, but what's happening to us spiritually and what's happening to our souls in our relationship when this is the way that the men decide to solve whatever they're trying to solve or express whatever they're trying to express.
So you've written a lot of plays. I think over 250.
Yes.
And I noticed in reading some of your work that it is somewhat focused on different traumas, but there's a way out, so to speak. I mean,
Yes.
they're triumphant traumas, but
Yes.
so why do you write from that place that's so raw and taunt?
I'm compelled to do it. I came into this work unexpectedly. My whole adult career was basically as a speech language pathologist, and that is providing diagnosis and therapy for children who have